Welcome back, everybody. It is the Working Brother back at you with another talk. Yet again, we've got Vaun. Vaun, how you doing?
Hey, I'm doing great. Good to be back again after that short
Excellent.
break.
Good to have you back. You've got your headphones on, which have a mic, and now we don't have that annoying background noise that sounded like somebody was drilling into your microphone. But we can hear you a lot better now. Welcome back. Everybody who's new here, hi, welcome. This is a comedy show. Nothing we say here has anything to do with reality. Vaun Festus, what kind of name is that? Is that your real name, Festus, or is that like an online pseudonym name?
It's like an online pseudonym.
All right. And you are former military, currently.
Yes.
Currently, are
Just
you
a
reserves?
regular American. No, I'm not in the reserves or anything anymore. Just a
All
regular
right.
guy living in Trump land now.
Trump land. Yes, this is going to come out. We don't know when this is going to come out. I might have another episode come out between these two talks because we're supposed to have John Bosnich chiming in from Washington D.C. after the inauguration. I'm planning to record that on the 20th. It is the 18th as we record this still. We're going to be discussing Chinese propaganda, but Vaun wanted to how should I say, clear some things up about his earlier statements regarding the M1A1 Abrams and the T90, etc. Do you want to get into that?
Yeah, just real quick. Like the M1A1, it's an excellent tank. It's an excellent platform. It's very survivable, very well equipped, and very capable. Out of all the tanks in the world, if I had to pick one to be on, it would probably be that one, just because I'm familiar with it and I like it. Maybe I'm biased. It has excellent, protection, excellent, late fire control system, ammunition. Now you go over to the T90Ms. It's got the new bustle rack ammo, which is kind of like the M1, so it's got probably some better survivability. The armor, both of those tanks should be able to take hits from each other head to head, at distance. Obviously not point blank. I don't think anyone could survive that. Obviously it would matter if you got hit in the tracks or the turret ring, even at distance. But if it was to hit the front slope armor, both of those tanks should be able to take a couple hits and keep fighting. The fire control systems are pretty similar from what I was exposed to in the Army as far as the thermal sights. Some of the digital stuff you see with the push buttons in the T90 on the thermal sight, the rubberized, just symbology, same exact stuff. Very similar. The quality of the image is good. And like if you have 1990s M1A1 thermal imaging quality, you're fine today, because obviously there's not these long range tank battles anyways, and you can see up close. But, comparatively, and that tank is probably as capable as the M1, and it's probably a half or a third of the price, and it might even have, in some ways, a better capabilities as far as they use it for artillery, and they have rounds that actually act like artillery. But, the idea that the M1 is, the super tank that can't be destroyed is ridiculous, especially in the world of the drone. It's the same with the Leopard 2 and the Challenger 2, but the Challenger 2 is trash. They hide, they don't even fight.
The funny thing, exactly, I was just gonna say the M1 Abrams, at least it like went into that like cauldron and got smashed by the Russians, whereas the Challenger, as it's called, was being challenged a little bit everywhere, and they found it challenging, so it had to pull back and hide, basically. We saw some more of them now.
And the Leopard 2, again, an excellent Western tank, same capabilities as the M1 systems, thermals, lasers, and all that. But, in this era, you got to have the cope cage and the jammers, or it's pointless. A T-55 is just as good as one of those, because they're going to hit you on the top with, an FPV drone with an RPG on it. You might survive a little better in the M1, obviously, or the Leopard than a T-55, but still, if it had a cope cage on it and the M1 doesn't, it's basically the same damn thing. So the idea that they're these super tanks is ridiculous. They're all good tanks, but it really comes down to the crews. And honestly,
And it's
you
not
have
even
to give
that.
the
It's
edge to
combined
them.
arms. It's combined arms
Oh yeah,
warfare. And
exactly. And it's the training that they had all be I mean, look at the Ukrainians are getting what, a week, 4 days, 3 weeks, a month, 6 months. You know, but that's the thing. It's the training and the crews. But the tanks are all about the same. I mean, as far as the main nations, I don't know about Chinese main battle tanks because they're completely untested. But if they're copying somebody or basically building the same thing, they're probably similarly capable. They got thermal imagers on them and laser rangefinders. I mean, I don't think they're going to blow up instantly with every shot, but who knows? But yeah, I mean, it's same with the
well,
fighting vehicles and stuff. I mean, there might be some survivability issues and pros and cons, but they all have 30 millimeter cannons or 25 millimeter cannons. They all have ATGMs that can carry a squad. I mean, it really comes down to who gets shot first. So there's no
we'll
wonder
get
weapons.
into we'll get into Chinese propaganda. We've got a ton of it. Where I just wanted to where is this my squad? There we go. I just wanted to pop this up. This is you with your squad. When was
Yeah,
this? Which one is
that would have
you?
been in
Which one is
1991.
you?
I'm in the back with the glasses.
You're in the back with the
I'm
glasses. That'd be you.
yeah. No, I'm the brown Asian guy in the front. No, I'm in the back with the glasses. But yeah, that
All
was
right.
our basic training squad. So all those guys were all on tanks.
Considering this is a comedy show, I have to flash a meme up. This was sent in by who was this sent in by? Oh yeah, Batman. He's new in chat. Thank you, Batman, for the meme. Oh gasp, black cat. Oh gasp, an ugly bitch. I'm reading it for you because you're on mobile, so I'm guessing you can't see it quite clearly. But yeah, I wanted to get your take on the Cali fires before we get into Chinese propaganda.
I mean, the whole thing's criminal because it happens every year. I mean, I was born in California. I lived there for a while. I have a lot of family out there still. And it's just bullshit because you have a fucking ocean there. This is supposedly a state that's like the seventh largest economy in the world, but it burns down every fucking year. I mean, it's like build some fucking reservoirs, put water in them, build some desalinization plants. I mean, you have the Sierra Nevada mountains right there. Big Sur, they get feet upon feet of snow, but yet they never have any water. I mean, and I'm not trying to like rant, but like if you go to Hawaii and go to Maui, on one side it's tropical, on the other side it's pretty dry. And these ancient spear chuckers somehow managed to build these aqueducts out of rock so they could transport water from one side of the island to the other and irrigate their farms. And it still works today. And it's made out of rocks and probably like, I don't know, some kind of sand mortar. And I'm like, in California, they're always worried about the environment and appearance. It's like you could literally build little catchments and stuff to catch the runoff and make it look like a fake dam. It doesn't have to look like the Hoover Dam. And then maybe just hook a pump to it or a pipeline. So, hey, there's no fires this year. We don't need it. Great. Hey, there's a fire. Oh, that's cool. We got 5 billion gallons of water up in the mountains we've been saving. So there's no excuse for it. And then you factor in all this weird shit about hydrants being dry and laser beams and shit. I mean, and then I heard today that BlackRock's supposedly going around offering people cash for their property.
For real,
So who
I haven't
knows? I
heard
mean, it's
that. That
all,
wouldn't surprise me.
yeah, but yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. I mean, they're losing their ass in Ukraine, so they figure they'll make it back in California. But yeah, I mean, the whole thing is bullshit. And the thing is the people keep voting for it. So I don't know. I mean, maybe they say this time California will go red. I'm like, maybe. Is that because it's burnt to a cinder or because they voted for somebody else? You know? But yeah, I mean, it's criminal negligence. I mean, where else could you do that kind of fuck up and still get paid like hundreds of thousands of dollars,
Speaking of
to be
going
arrested
red,
in violation?
shall we start with the Chinese propaganda?
Sure.
The exodus from TikTok, a Chinese app banned by the Supreme Court in the U.S. I came across this video. I don't know how this is possible. How Oh, this is gonna strike me. Let's not play any sound in the background. But she's doing her TikTok dance, her last TikTok dance, and she's crying, dude. She's crying. Like you
Oh
might not be
God.
able to see on your phone, but she's crying. TikTok breakdown is what I labeled it. I don't know what is
That's
wrong with these
horrible.
people. Um, I sent you this. I don't know if you listened to it
Yeah, I
beforehand,
saw that one. Yeah, the
but I'm
chick
gonna
talking about the food.
I'm gonna play it for the audience to get a taste of how these Americans are being radicalized by this new Chinese app, and then I'm gonna
Thought they
get
were
your
just
take
afraid
on
of
it.
us learning about other philosophies, other political ideologies, because that would threaten this late stage capitalism that we're in. Well, it's simpler than that. They can afford groceries on the other side of the world, one of the biggest countries in the world, the biggest
Chinese
population.
propaganda, I tell you. Feel free to chime in at any point.
Every time we talked about the healthcare system, the pharmaceutical, the food, the pew pew, lack thereof regulations, every time we pulled examples from other Western countries, what is the thing they always come back with? Well, they have a population of 50 million and we have 350 million, so it would never work here. It would never work here. It would never work here. Tell me why. They're eating fresh food
Why can they
for
eat fresh
90
food?
cents.
I just
US.
want to say something.
And you're
In
not
the, in the
having
other
conversion, but
Go on.
in the other communities, we got a couple people that are like, in and around China, and they're
Hmm.
real, they're really into, they can tell you about China. Like some of them are really pro China.
Yeah.
And the thing is, it's like they were talking specifically about healthcare the other day. And it's like, yeah, it sounds good and it looks good, but they said it really comes down to you have to have money, and you have to have a lot of money to pay for the prescriptions and get the treatments and stuff. And it's not all as free as they think. It might be like a lot cheaper than the States, but you
Hmm.
still got to come with money in China to get treated properly and get the medicine you want. There's no, oh, I'm sick, comrade, and go down to the fucking clinic and get your penicillin.
From what I
You know,
understood, and like people can like correct me in the comments, of course, but and Vaughn also. But the point is, especially if you're Chinese, leave a comment. We did this one time. We asked for an Indian subscriber to leave a comment, and he left an essay. You can go find it on Telegram. It's an
those damn
excellent look
Pajeets.
into. Yeah, it was an excellent look into the politics of like the internal politics of India, which I had no idea, like that they have like overlapping like federal and state regulations and stuff like that. It's extremely complicated and very very how can I say, prime for influence. In any case, I was going to say that from what I understand, in the Chinese medical system, you've got two options. You've got the homeopathic Chinese old school medicine option, and you've got modern Western medicine option, and both of them are state sponsored and free. And then you've got on top of that private healthcare. You know what I mean? But the state sponsored and free, like you go there and everything's free, but the medicine is not free or whatever. I don't know. But from what I understand, like, and that's how it works here in Serbia too. Like you've got like the government healthcare, and like to go there is quote unquote free. Like you pay your taxes. But like if you need an X-ray, you might get it in 6 months, not like today. If you want to get it today,
Yeah.
you can go to like government ones that are paid, yeah, or you can go to private ones that are paid, and then go back to the government with your X-ray. You know what I mean? But like it's little things like that. But the bottom line is there is a safety net of some sort. Like if you like, for example, I told you off camera, and I've told viewers, I lived in Canada for a year, and that's more than enough of the Western system for me. I partied one night and got drunk and cut my hand open, picking up a broken glass that was on the floor. Like I was too drunk to realize that was that broken, and I picked it up and sliced my thumb open. And I was taken to what's it called? A first aid
Like an urgent
place.
care.
Yeah, first aid, urgent care via like an ambulance, and the ambulance ride was like $500, and I was just like, "What? What the
Yeah.
fuck?" You like, I could have taken a cab. You know what I mean? Like, I did not need that
An Uber.
ambulance. You know? No, it was. This was like in 2003, so it was long before Ubers.
Oh,
But
okay.
but yeah, the point is,
Yeah, you
like,
could've
I had
walked.
that touch with the Canadian healthcare system, and that was like enough of a shock to like not be interested. Whereas, like, you don't get charged for the ambulance here. I'm pretty sure in Serbia or
Yeah, here
in
in the
China.
States, it's ridiculous. That and the air flights, they try to charge a lot for the air flights or get you to take an air flight. It's like thousands of dollars.
I heard
And
the
insurance
Coast
companies
Guard even
usually don't pay
charges you
for
when
that.
they save you, right? The Coast Guard charges you when they save
Yeah,
you.
which is weird because, they get tax money, but I guess it's not enough. Maybe they need their own Grisha Putin to raise money for them.
Um, let's finish this lovely lady's expose on
Oh, yeah.
Chinese propaganda.
People are in beautiful apartments.
Chinese
They are
people.
eating fresh food.
Can you believe that
They
shit?
are enjoying and
Yeah, I've
celebrating
seen
their
some of those
history and their
apartments.
culture.
The tofu apartments, as they're called, yeah.
Deodorant is $11.
$11, bro. How much is it deodorant where you are?
I'd say probably around $7, $8.
Stas, who
You
you
know,
might,
if you want to buy, if you're buying like some Old Spice
yeah,
tobacco
like
or something.
brand name, yeah,
Yeah.
or Axe or whatever. But like,
Yeah.
Stas was saying that there's $4 in Russia, like American brands. So there's that. When I sent him
The
this video
minimum wage
earlier,
is
That's what pisses me off too.
pre-tax.
I mean, I'll wait till she's done.
she
Just
makes
don't
some
even
really
want to
good
talk
points here
about
about minimum wage. Let's listen
Yeah.
in and then we'll go on.
Hasn't moved in decades. In no county in the entire United States could you work 40 hours a week at a minimum wage job and be able to afford a one-bedroom apartment. That is the point of minimum wage. It all goes back to what every single revolution is about, always. Food.
I'll leave a
As
link
in,
to where Hogan talks about
really,
that.
it's not even just, oh, we need to make sure that they know that these other forms of government will never work. They don't work. Okay, I don't have a PhD in economics or in social,
Obviously.
political climate, international politics, whatever. But what I do know is that
I know that
they're
50
eating
million
good
Chinese
and fresh over
eat
there.
fresh food and live in apartments.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I mean, I get
and
what
they
you're
have a
saying.
and they have an army of 1.7 million or something, like a standing army. You know.
Yeah. I mean,
Do you think Trump's gonna go after China?
I think what they're going to do. Well, the other day there was a press release. I think it was by the Chinese, and it said that him and Xi had talked, and it said that President Xi and President Trump plan to bring peace to the world together. So I mean, all this, like, people are like, oh, the tariffs, the tariffs. It's like, look, do you not know Trump? Do you know Trump? I mean, he always talks shit. He always trolls. The tariffs are obviously a negotiating tool. Yeah, maybe it'll be a tariff. Maybe it'll be 1% and 5%. It's not going to be 100% unless you're just a dumbass and don't want to make a deal with him. But everyone's going to make the deal because everyone wants to make money. So maybe there'll be a tariff. Maybe there won't. And everyone's like, oh, your Chinese coffee cups from Walmart are going to go up $5. It's like, oh, I don't buy a lot of Chinese coffee cups from Walmart, so I probably won't notice if I do buy one and then it happened to be $10 instead of $5. It's like, I mean, I'm sure there'll be things that go up, but it's like, it's mostly just to get a better economic deal with China. And I think that's what they want to do. I don't really think, I mean, there's obviously people that want to fight China for some stupid fucking reason, but I think the cooler heads like Trump and some of the other people are, just trying to figure out how you can work with it and coexist and make money off each other and not have this stupid war hanging out there. I mean, I kind of like what like right now he's talking about American imperialism, but it is, but in a way we're becoming isolationists if we do it. Like if we take Greenland Canada and the Panama Canal, yeah, that's imperialistic sounding and looking. But if we pull out of parts of Asia, the Middle East, and Europe, and reduce our footprint there, and maybe back up out of Eastern Europe and worry more about our own hemisphere, that might be a good thing. But who knows what's going to happen with that? I think taking the Panama Canal would be harder than taking Canada.
Definitely, because I think a lot of people would have more to say about the Panama Canal than they would about Canada. Like, I don't think many people would care if you took Canada.
He wants to take the canal. It's like, I kind of feel like it's ours and we should have it, but at the same time, I'm pretty sure they'll figure out a way to get what he wants out of the prices of the ships going through and modifications or upgrades. It'll all get worked out. It's just a way to keep the issue, I guess, on the table. In Greenland, if you the Greenland people, they obviously want us to take them over, so we should send like a couple Marines and go do that. I think we already have a base there anyways. Isn't there already an Air Force base there too? So it's like
exactly.
We're already there.
It's a Space Force base.
Denmark's complaining. Yeah, Space Force.
Let's get back to Chinese.
Cool shit. Sorry.
Let's get back to Chinese. Let's get back to Chinese propaganda and the exodus from TikTok. This is, I'm guessing, on Twitter. A Chinese user of RedNote. The RedNote asked, please, to strategize and buy TikTok and trap all the white ladies and keep the white obesity influence lock in America. It's just no filter. Let's put it that way.
She's pretty popular. I've seen her quoted multiple times. Somebody said something like, "You're racist," and she's like, "Yeah, I am racist."
Yeah, it's funny. A lot of Asians are a lot more racist than most people would think. In any case, this was also something that came across my feed. U.S. Air Force C-17 pilot Emily Berkemeyer joined and uploaded numerous videos of her flying and other military stuff associated to Huangzhou, a Chinese-based run and controlled social media platform. So she posted, we have more pictures. Where are they? Here we go. She posted herself in the cockpit. She posted all kinds of other things. And I'm sure the Chinese government was very grateful. Apparently,
she's got 1,000 new followers.
How do you feel about Americans being gullible and going over to this new Chinese app to give over all kinds of data?
I think it's kind of funny because it's kind of dumb. And, obviously that lady's probably going to get in trouble over that. But in a way, I think it's kind of good because I did see somebody say that, they're seeing all these Americans and Chinese talking about, what's going on in their country or back home. And they're teaching each other English and Mandarin. So they're learning about how other people might see their country maybe for the first time.
Wow, you said Mandarin. You didn't say Chinese. That's commendable. I gotta draw attention to that. Most people would say Chinese, but you said Mandarin. Respect.
I'm not trying to make those Chinese mad, so I know it's Mandarin. But and so that's kind of good because they're being exposed to different viewpoints, and maybe it's kind of in a way maybe they'll start to realize why people feel the way they feel about things, and maybe some people will wake up to be kind of like black-pilled like me in a way, about cynical about the government, cynical about the foreign policy or where they spend money. So maybe in that way it's a good thing, because if you watch some of the channels with the Americans that are living in Russia and stuff, or Real Reporter, where they go to the stores, it fucking pisses me off because, Russia doesn't have everything America has, but it's a first world country. Every city and most towns, they all have internet, they have cheap utilities, they have electricity. Despite what you've heard, they do have toilets. You know,
Washing
they have the
machines.
internet. Yeah, you know, they have all the stuff we have. It's like, yeah, they don't have 5 cell phone companies in town. They got maybe 1 or 2. They don't have 20,000 different TVs to pick from, but they have everything we have. And it sucks because you see like how much cheaper it is. It's like, you know, every technology's cheaper. Utilities are cheaper. Like one guy I know, he's like, yeah, I think I spent $3 last month on my water and maybe $5 on utilities like gas and electricity and internet. And it's like, dude, that wouldn't even buy you a fucking coffee in America. And you've got 5G. I mean, you're sitting there watching a live stream on 5G from Siberia, and you call your mom on your smartphone at the same time with zero problems. And it's
Yeah,
like
and you got
100 times
government heating,
cheaper.
and you've got government heating,
Yeah,
basically in
it's
Siberia.
like, oh, if you're thirsty, just go over here to this fountain that's got free water and fill it up with a jug up or take a drink. I mean, yeah, it's rural and there's a lot of issues like with the gun ownership and stuff, but still, it's like they got everything I got. Maybe not, they don't have 20 KFCs and McDonald's, but if you want some fast
Actually,
food, they got
KFC I
fast
think never
food.
left. I think KFC never left.
Yeah, but you know what I'm saying? It's like there's not 20.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
might have
yeah.
one. It's not oversaturated. They got everything you got. I mean, especially if you live in the cities, it's from what I understand. St. Petersburg, Moscow is just like, other than the language, pretty much living in the Western city with the cost of living and what you have as far as amenities and stuff. So, that's another, maybe people will see that, like how much you get overcharged in the West for basically the same stuff that Eastern Europe gets or Russia gets, especially Russia. I mean, it's pretty, it's a testament to how much of a failure the sanctions are when you're looking at them buying groceries and feeding them
We'll
and
have
stuff.
none of that. Sanctions are working, man. Sanctions are
Yeah,
working.
but you know what I'm saying? It's like a slap in the face because you see guys like Bolton and Blinken and it's like, and then you see somebody doing a show and it's like, yeah, the price spiked 3 cents and it's still like $5 cheaper than what you spend. Remember there was a guy like in the beginning of the war that ran that YouTube channel where he just ran his gas burner and he had like a count of how much it was
Oh
costing
yeah,
him.
they took him down.
It
They
was
took
like,
him down.
like 3 cents a week or some shit. And he's like, had a GoFundMe to buy like a 5 burner so he could show you how much it would cost to just run 5 burners 24 hours a day. Yeah, I mean, you see that. I mean, maybe people need to see that. So maybe the RedNote thing will be good for that because people will, see other people and how they're living and they're not so much different. Because think about it, not to be like cheesy.
Before we get into some of the video clips I've got saved from RedNote, somebody shared them on Telegram and I saved them. I want to thank everybody who's a patron. I also want to thank everybody who's bought me a coffee. Where's that buy me a coffee thing? And I want to remind everybody that this channel is not eligible for monetization. You can guess why. Also, considering it's post-Trump inauguration, I wanted to bring this up. This is Israeli Telegram's Telegram channel's reaction to the Trump peace deal with Hamas. So they're branding him as a Hamas supporter. Now, where are those videos that I've got queued? We've got RedNote video number 1, which is Alex Jones, believe it or not.
Third heaven. I've been jacked into the big plan. I've seen it. I can't even compute all. It's so fantastical. You've not seen nothing. You ain't heard nothing. You ain't smelled nothing like this. I don't have words to tell you. But I tell you, anybody tries to get in the way of the incredible plan the big guys got for us has got me pissed. I'm just begging to stay on the team, man. Just put me in the game, coach. Whatever you say, coach. I know I'm weak. I know I'm pathetic. Man, you're amazing. I'm so lucky you, baby.
Yeah, I mean,
Like a hunting dog, man. Just take me out of the house. Just turn me on them. Just tell me what I gotta do. Tell me what. Tell me how.
Chinese propaganda special. That's what we're going to call this one.
oh yeah.
This is Japan, if I'm not mistaken, being obliterated. With Chinese probably not copyright free music. Let's see what else we got. We got a nice lady here with a Chinese RPG of sorts. She's giving you instructions, I guess. We're not sponsored by RedNote or whatever they're called, and we don't know what these people are saying. But
It looks legit.
it looks like it's legit. Yeah, she's actually firing an RPG. Does this make you want to download Chinese propaganda apps?
It makes you want to go to China and shoot an RPG. That's one thing I like. That's another thing I like about Russia. Like, if you go there as a tourist, you can like rent a tank, go fly in an Su-27.
That's true.
They have all kinds of fun shit. Like in America, it's like they'll never let you touch an M1 or fly in an F-15. Even if you paid for the gas and everything, it's like I think it was like $20,000 to fly up in an Su-27 or something. But still, you can't even do that in America. So that's another thing that's kind of cool. You can go on fun adventures.
We've got our last RedNote thing here. TikTok refugees have recently noted harsh restrictions on RedNote that have resulted in their content being removed or their accounts being suspended, including for mentioning LGBTQ plus identities or for women wearing a slightly low-cut top. That second part seems doubtful considering what we just saw. But that first part, you can thank the Lord of the Chinese censorship body.
Yeah, like I said, I mean, maybe it'll wake some people up or open some people's eyes to things, and maybe there'll be some more change in opinion, and things will start going the right way slowly. But the whole RedNote thing I think it's funny. I mean, I don't have a problem with it. I mean, if you want to go hang out there and be exposed to the Chinese way of doing things, go ahead.
I was gonna say I checked in on the UK and to see how they were doing, and I saw this bit of news. Cloud at Lancashire nuclear site is no cause for concern. So that's how the UK is doing. Part one.
Nothing to see.
And then
nothing to see.
Right,
and then have the Chernobyl document that movie they did on Chernobyl. I'm having flashbacks.
Right. Harry Potter has defected to Russia. That's the latest. So the UK is definitely not what it used to be. We are almost done here with all the memes that we've got lined up. Oh, the China ship invasions. I was going to get your take on that. We almost forgot that.
Are you talking about those new amphibious?
Yes, we've got all kinds of pictures here. 3 different vessels, one with a ramp. The rest are the pier pieces and shorter or longer variant put together like Lego pieces. This is picture 1. Let's go to picture 2. This is the other thing. And then we've got the articles and the close-ups. China building fleet of special barges suitable for Taiwan landings. I'm telling you, this is the China, what's it called? China Propaganda Special. And these are satellite photos where you can see these vessels. There's one here, and there's another here with its ramp extended. And there's the zoomed in picture, excuse me, with the ramp extended. And then you've got other... Go on?
They could just be car ferries. Oh, I said, or they could just be car ferries.
Actually, I'll send you the video that this guy did afterwards, but the car ferries are right here, and it's the same Chinese shipyard that builds car ferries and builds these pontoon bridge things, which are like used for mining and exploration. And fun fact, the Chinese ship car ferries are built to be able to carry tanks. I don't have a picture here, but you can go find pictures of the Chinese ship ferries, which are like built to military spec.
Dual use stuff instead of building specific things.
Because it's centrally planned, you know what I mean? And then that gives them
plus it's
the
easier
ability.
To hide. It's like, oh, that's not a tank ferry. That's a car ferry. What are you talking about?
And you can even see them here in this projection, like right here, the ferry right here that's dropping off the vehicles is actually the civilian ferry. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, it looks
how
to
do you
me more
feel?
like they're building stuff to set up like mulberries and stuff. Then the ships
Yeah,
will just come
exactly.
and offload of whatever type.
It's a mulberry.
Yeah, I mean,
It's a mulberry harbor, but the difference is these are like custom built ones that are like attachable. I'll send you the video later from H.I. Sutton, but like he's a British independent journalist, you know, like those analysts are who are independent. But he had a video recently where he was like, "Oh, here we can see the Russian ship photographed from the French plane, and unfortunately the French plane is not shooting this Russian research vessel." And it's just like, dude, like keep your fucking British bullshit to yourself.
These fucking like psychotic outbursts of like, why aren't we doing this? Like, because it'll be a nuclear war, you idiot. That's why.
Basically. How do you feel about the imminent invasion of Taiwan by China?
Honestly,
do you think America's duty to defend Taiwan like they defend Israel?
Hell no. I really don't want us to defend them, so I think the Taiwanese should just welcome their brothers.
Right?
You know, I mean, really, it's not, because they're going to win either way, so you might as well, you can do it the hard way or the easy way, but you're a part of China, so, and why wreck all that beautiful infrastructure and factories that, I mean, yeah, maybe you don't want them to have, I don't even know if I can believe that Taiwan is the only place that makes the super small processors and China and Russia can't. Because it just seems to me like at some point everybody's going to have that if they don't have it already. Or maybe they just don't have it to the scale, but I don't know. I mean, everybody wants chips. Why not just make them and sell them to everybody? And shut up. I mean, that's China's backyard. Let them run
supposedly they started making them somewhere in stateside. I can't remember where, but like the newest.
Yeah, they've got some chip plants. Yeah, like out in, I think there's one out in California. There's one up in Idaho, but I don't know what they build up there. It's been there for a while, and you know they're talking. You know that's like the other thing with the United States and the West. That you know we're going to ramp up production and manufacturing of arms and ammunition, and I know they've upticked some of the ammunition, but overall I don't think there was much of an increase because you gotta hire back people, you know, then you got to find people that are trained to do, you know, all those jobs and run those machines and then buy the machines and get a factory and put everything in. And as stupid as America is about regulations and shit, I mean, even, you know, short of a war where some guy's like making you do it at gunpoint, you know, I still think it's a couple years behind. And, you know, like with Russia, you know, if you watch Putin, they've obviously been on the sanction-proofing foot for over a decade, and you know they've obviously prepared themselves pretty well to withstand the sanctions. So, I mean, I don't see how fighting China, you know, and same with sanctioning China. And I mean, you might hurt China, but it's just going to hurt us and maybe even provoke some kind of shooting war with China. Because I don't think China's afraid of us. I mean, they may be leery of us, but I don't think they're afraid of us.
Have you seen that episode that I did with Drago where we looked at the video of 7,000 drones controlled from one laptop?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, they're doing some scary stuff, and that's not to say we couldn't catch up. But I mean, think about it. Look at the American Western mindset. Do you see them short of a direct attack and no choice? Yeah, we need to build 10 billion drones. No, they talk about it, but you know, we're not building 10,000 drones. I mean, like the other day when the Chinese did that New Year's display with the dragon and the circle.
Exactly.
I mean, I've been talking about with some other people, but like, imagine if you had like a site like let's say an arms depot. Why couldn't you have those drones sitting there passively, and then when you get the launch alert that there's inbound cruise missiles, you know, let's say 4 or 5 miles from the actual target, they fly up and you can see how tight they can be, and you can form a dome. I mean, it doesn't have to blow up or shoot the thing down or intercept it. You just put them up and let the cruise missiles run into them. I mean, if they hit those things,
you're saying make
crash.
That's an
Yeah, why not?
interesting idea. I haven't actually come across anyone
And the
discussing that
Chinese
as a.
seem like, yeah, but the Chinese seem like they're the ones that would be able to do that right now because, I mean, if you can make a dragon twist and turn and all that, why couldn't you put like a dome over a target?
Yeah,
So,
yeah, with
or it
like
doesn't even have to be a dome. It could just be a
layers of
wall.
drones. Yeah, layers of
Yeah, and they
drones
just
in the
fly, you know,
trajectory
a
of
cruise
like
missile
something.
flying
Yeah,
in at 500 miles an hour running into a Baba Yaga sized drone is done. It's going to crash or blow
yeah,
up.
yeah,
And it
yeah.
seems like that would be something to do if you can't afford S-300s or, you know, you don't want to waste tons of, you know, like 32 Patriots and
And on the
shoot
flip
down
side,
one missile.
And on the flip side, if you've got like a arms depot that you need to take care of, and you've got 7,000 drones that you can send in, you send them in, and there's like there's basically like
Yeah,
nothing you can do. Like if I've got 7,000 drones, each with like a half kilo or like 1 pound explosive on them,
yeah,
and they're all coming for you, and there's like 500 or 700 of you on base, like that's 10 drones per person. You know what I mean?
yeah. It's like there's no way. I mean, you can't have enough missiles, enough air defense, enough guys with shotguns. I mean, that's another
So
thing that's funny about the
when did you
how modern
decide
the war.
when did you
Oh, I just
decide
think
or
it's funny how
discover
this.
the like
Uh,
basically the American industrial complex and the whole like Western globalist agenda is like a little more crooked than you were led to believe when you were in the system?
I'd say probably when I was in the National Guard, I probably started getting kind of, you know, cynical about it because, like, we had a lot of guys in the Guard unit that served in Desert Storm, and then when they announced like all the people that may have been exposed to stuff and to go to the VA and get checked out, they put these lists out, and just it was just sad watching all these guys that walking over there looking at the list and see if it was an area that they were deployed in Iraq and if they needed to go to the VA to see if they were exposed to shit. And then you look at the way they treated everybody all through that. You know, oh, you're not sick from breathing burning oil for 3 days. That's in your head. You must, you know, it must be from smoking. You know, because you know all the crap they were exposed to. They're blowing up depots and all that crap's floating around.
Yeah.
And then, like not to be like an ass kisser or nothing, but like with Serbia, you know, everything broke up. Like I was in the army when the Soviet Union took the flag down, and I saw that. You know, we were sitting in the ready room when they took the flag down. I was like, well, that's a wrap. You know, Cold War's over. You know, I guess we beat Russia economically, and you know, I just assumed at some point the West and Russia would start working together on things. Maybe not be best friends, but I just assumed, you know, white people that are Europeanish would get along with other people at some point. You know, maybe not, like I said, best friends, but I figured we would work together. And I actually thought maybe at some point we would be friendly enough that maybe we would be a hedge against China. But obviously, other people had other plans. And then you look at, like, I don't want to be racist or anything, but like I grew up in the 80s and the 90s, so you got to feel all the terrorism, PLO. So I didn't really like Muslims. So when we started fucking around in Serbia and Kosovo and all that shit, it pissed me off because I'm like, why the fuck are we helping Muslims? You know,
the
why are we
the
helping Muslims fight? You know, and I'm like I said, it's simplified, but you know,
Because
fight white
Orthodox are
Europeans.
worse than Muslims, man. You don't understand. Like in
Oh,
the
I know, but see,
Anglo-Saxon perspective.
I just wasn't I just wasn't like supportive. You know, because I was in the army, we saw shit. They showed us videos of stuff going on, and it's like I remember seeing some, you know, I don't know if they were Croatian or whatever, some Muslim dudes playing soccer with a dude's head. You know, grandma, babushka crawling behind walls so they don't get shot by snipers. I mean, these are like Serbian people, and it's like, you know, we're going in there and picking sides. And I just, you know, and then we got an alert for Kosovo. I think when I was in the Guard, I told you about that. Nothing came of that, which is good. I mean, I would have had to go, but that would have sucked because I would have been like, oh, yay, we're helping the Muslims. Which, you know, like I said, I just didn't understand why we're helping people that like blew up the World Trade Center in '93 and the coal and
But then the
blow up
deeper you get into
embassies.
it, like you have to peel back the layers. And number one, they're not really Muslims. You know, like,
Oh, I know, but you know what I'm saying. I
like
mean, we got to help the Bosnian
there's
Muslims,
very
and I'm
little
like,
there's
what the
very little
fuck?
about anything that these people do that is Muslim. If you know anything about
Oh, I
Islam,
know. I've talked to some Croats and Serbian guys, and it's like, yeah, they're Muslims, but they drink and blah blah. You know, they do everything pretty
no,
much.
but beyond
But
that,
yeah, that was the whole
like,
point. You know, I was like, why the fuck are we going in there? And I just felt like, honestly, if it would have been allowed to sort itself out without
and then
outside interference, it would be Serbia right now, and it would be all one country, or
it
at
is
least under one
technically
person.
it is,
Well, you know what I'm saying. It wouldn't be the Kosovo bullshit and the Bosnian
we'll see
bullshit
what
and the
happens with
Croatian
Trump.
bullshit.
I'm
Yeah.
optimistic with Trump, but cautiously optimistic, I think, is the term. For the view here of what can happen in the future in the Balkans. But I was gonna get your take on something, but I forgot what it was right now.
Oh, just real quick, just on Kosovo. Like one of
Go
my
on.
favorite things from back then was when the Russian airborne took the Pristina airport. I thought that was masterful, and it made me laugh. My only bitch was they didn't stay and keep it. You know, they eventually left
Yeah,
and gave in.
a lot of Serbs would
Considering
agree
where
with you.
things are now, they should have fucking stayed and forced the issue, but obviously they couldn't. So
Um,
they didn't have any.
fun
Yeah,
fact.
but I mean, I love
Fun.
that shit because I fucking hate General Wesley Clark, and anytime that
You're
fucker can get slapped around, it's good because he's a
You're
clown.
three Kevin Bacons away from the guy who was the commander of that battalion of Russians. Because like I met a Serbian guy who he's actually Macedonian, but he's technically Yugoslav born. But I met him in Russia, and it's one of the first videos that I uploaded. Like I'll leave a link somewhere. But he actually met the guy who's the head of some republic in Russia now, who used to be the VDV commander back then, who actually took those troops from Bosnia down to Kosovo, to Pristina airport, which is insane. But the point is, it's a small world. But yeah, the point is, I was gonna say, because you said, Muslims, they did 9/11, but then when you look into 9/11, they didn't do 9/11, bro.
Oh, I know. I mean, it's like it's even worse. As I've gotten older, it just gets worse and worse. It's like everything you thought you knew. I mean, like here's an example. Like I said, I grew up during the Cold War when I went to private Catholic school, and this was like grade school, like fourth, fifth, sixth grade-ish, and this was probably early '80s, so height of the Cold War, and I was a Catholic private school, and of course, the godless Soviets are going to invade America, and when they capture you and round you up, they're going to tell you to deny Christ and
Red
accept,
Dawn type of thing,
communism.
right?
Yeah, and of course the nuns they lined us up and they would walk down the line, pretending to be the Russian. Do you renounce, Jesus Christ as your savior? Of course you say no because you don't want to get slapped by the nun's ruler. Yeah, I'll die for America. I'll die for Jesus. You'd probably be like in real life, Jesus who? What? Hello, Jesus, I don't know what you're talking about, comrade. But yeah, I mean, that's the kind of shit that went on. I mean, that was in a private school in America. They're scaring little kids like the Russians are going to come and, make you renounce Jesus and become a godless heathen. And then you go actually talk to people, and we're all pretty much the same.
It's
Except for
the era of stop, drop, and roll. That's how no, not duck and cover.
Yeah, like the dumb shit, like duck and cover under a desk. So
Right?
your shadow will be there under the desk.
That was a simpler time. What can you say?
Yeah. I mean, I wish we could go back to the '80s, kind of sometimes, maybe with less of the shit, but good times.
I don't know. Depends where. People
Yeah, exactly.
are
Exactly.
often like go back to the '90s when there's no internet, like, and then people are like, what about
Yeah, I'd be like,
Yugoslavia in the
'90s were
'90s?
great, and you might be like, yeah, they were fucking great assholes.
Great for watching bombing.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter what decade we're in. It seems the bombing is constant.
Yeah,
It just
exactly.
changes location.
I mean, like I said, I'm in my 50s, and like my dad served in Vietnam. I mean, have we ever had a single decade where we didn't have to go somewhere multiple times and do shit. Like, can we have like 5-year break or a 10-year break from like at least the big time shit? You know?
Doesn't look like it, considering you're going for Greenland now.
Yeah. Well, you know, that'll be easy. But you know, like my oldest son, he was in the Army. You know, he served in Iraq. You know, I was in during Desert Storm. You know, my dad is. It's like, you know, can we get a fucking break? You know, can we stay at home and maybe clear some dead trees and make some fire breaks or something useful? You know,
you want to do stuff that's useful to America, you terrorist.
yeah. Then somebody be like, "Oh, you want to fight forest fires?" Well, you know, posse comitatus doesn't allow the United States military to operate on American soil. It's like, we just want to put out fires. You know, the U.S. Army can go help out at Waco, but they can't help out at the border.
I don't know what you're talking about. I'm gonna pretend that that's some American trivia that I'm unfamiliar with. We'll leave that for a totally different type of educational episode.
Yeah. That's like an Alex Jones show on RedNote.
Basically, it's he like, kudos to him for that. At least, like, he was there. He filmed it. You know, from what I understand, he was the original person who was there the whole time.
Yeah, that's probably another thing that kind of set me sour. You know, some of the other stuff that happened around that time. You know.
OKC and the like.
Yeah. And then it just got progressively worse. It's like, oh, it won't get any worse. No, hold my beer.
Basically.
Every time.
I mean, it's like,
we got a little break from Trump during Trump. Maybe we'll get a break this time for a few years. But then who knows what's going to happen when he's gone.
One can only hope. Anything else you'd like to touch upon before we call this a talk?
No, I'm good. I mean, you know, I think we covered everything.
Anything you want to put out there to the subscribers?
Nah.
All right.
I'm good.
I'll put this on in the background. Here is the last meme of the day, just to check if everybody or anybody watches this to the end. Everybody, leave a like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. You know what to do. Vaun, thank you for the second hour. We'll have you on sooner or later again. And see you soon, everyone. Peace.